Hello and welcome again to Safety Short Series, 17th video of the series. Today's topic is machine fires. Now, this is the most commonly heard story. Machine caught fire, but why? The reason can be many. Faulty equipment, defective electric such as loose wires, or faulty equipment that can be overheat or could spark. Most common cause of fire in workplace: clutter, combustibles on site, human errors, arson. These are just some reasons, few, but there can be many. It's important to notice that small system or device of that you see behind, that is the lubrication system, or any cooling system, any mechanical system, or machine performing its set function is majorly prone to heat generation due to motion. Now, this can be of any rotating shaft, gear, roller, or any, or even in case of processing, use of materials. So many possibilities, isn't it? So let's start today's video understanding the basics of machine fires. Machine fires. So first and foremost thing is, to understand machine fires, we must understand the machine first. So what is a machine? By definition, it is an apparatus that is using mechanical power and having several parts, each which with a defined function and together performing a particular task. Now this is more in general. Now when it comes to the industrial machines and equipment means the machinery and equipment used by manufacturers in manufacturing establishment. Machinery is any mechanical, electrical, or electronic device designed and used to perform some function to produce a certain effect or result. But industrial functions are not that simple. Each industry, no matter how big or small, have machines installed so it's to its specific function. Now, most of the machines have one thing in common: generation of energy or internal energy. This energy can be in terms of power supplied to run the system or to generate. Every machine or system, no matter how small, has its potential source of ignition. Now, identifying these sources, you must first know the machine. Correct? So, whenever we talk of fire, we must know the base element, and that is the ignition source of heat. Now heat is generated in machine by machine or its part or process. In the beginning we mentioned faulty equipment that falls in electrical system potential source, right? But both energy supply as well as heat source due to energy. How the system can start fire? If you have defective electrical system, like loose wires, or selection of wires is wrong, more power with smaller wire generation, or it will heat up the wire, or point and cause it to burn the component. Or note that these components are again flammable at certain temperature, no matter how fire resistant or wire coating or sleeves may be. But after certain temperature, heat will take over and integrity of the system is gone, and it does burn. Second most important reason for fire in machine is overheat due to overburden of machine. Now machine has its own limit in terms of volume of material handling and hours of usage. We should know that any mechanical system, it has its limitation. Rotation under load, it will heat. Like say there is a shaft rotating an impeller, or stirring or moving material or moving machines, right? About certain load, you know and any mechanical system and shaft will heat, for it's connected to a motor, or motor is not able to rotate it freely, or bearing function is jammed, or bush function is jammed at a particular area, will start heating the surface, becoming source of ignition. One, one must understand, in this condition, if any source of fuel is available that can burn at the heat generated and oxygen is already present, you will surely have fire. How it can be saved or stopped? By identifying that what will cause it. Hence, most industrial equipment come with weight, flow, pressure handling limits. A point might come how flow can have a lubrication, like suppose like we have a lubricating system for cooling use and intended function, but the cooling fluid is not having sufficient flow, correct? So flow rate is not getting, you know the machine is not getting the right flow rate of the coolant, which will result into what? So its desired function was to cool it off. When it is not having the proper flow rate, what will happen? It will generate heat, so the system will heat, hence becomes a source of ignition and causes fire. Now, here we have mentioned, we'll start discussing the most common cause of fire now in machine and workplace, right? So the very first thing that comes to our mind is clutter. What is clutter? As the name suggests, when we design a system, its utility connection and system inlet or system becomes cluttery to access or properly maintain. Maybe due to design or demand of function requiring insulation, post which area becomes congested or obstructed. So what happens is we don't have access to a place, resulting in simple. We don't see it, so we assume that it's okay. Remember, each inlet or system inlet is fitted with clutter is important to be uncluttered. Every screw, every valve, every nut or inlet or outlet connection should be visible, accessible, and most importantly, uncluttered. We mostly see that clutter area, we have lot of deposits of dirt due to unaccessible. It becomes dirty with leakages, which cannot be handled, which will not be attended as well, and so on, right? So this is what we need to do. We need to unclutter things. So if you want to save, this is a major cause of fire in any equipment. Now the second point that comes to is combustible on site. Now concept combustible on site means, when we talk of combustible material on site, this can be anything: material in use for process or lubrication system or any flammable material. Most common mistake: use of petroleum products like thinners, kerosene, petrol, along with grease, oil. So what we do, we mix it. We just simply take a cloth, we dip it in kerosene or petroleum product, petrol or anything, and then we take a grease and we paste it. Why? It eases our system. But while wiping, what happens if we leave it there? The combustible energy, what the flammable point of kerosene, diesel, petrol, all these things is lower than expected. So what will happen? We just leave it. We don't wipe it, and even if you wipe it, still the material is there, right? So keeping the area clean, while I cannot say that we should stop doing this practice, because it is a must. You require to do it, but you have to make sure that you don't leave with the mess there. You just have to clean it properly. So that causes the major cause, major potential there. Not even that, we leave some of the swabs or the cloth, we just leave there. So keeping you know uh, the area clean is also very important. Now, freely moving lightweight material with oil, with such petroleum product, generate or is a greater contributor to possible cause of fires also. Now, process combustible can only be controlled by neutralizing during the process system design. One of the important control is how, at any stage of process, if any material becomes violent or active beyond control, what can be done should also be part of program. Neutralization might not be only there and then. It can be draining it. It can be stopping the process of heating or flow or anything, and even sometimes putting some neutralizing agent, or making provision to finally to cool it off or to control it externally, or depends on what type of process is there. So when it comes to combustible material on site, these are few factors that you need to consider. That okay, if it is a process based, what we are supposed to do, we are either supposed to have provisions about neutralizing it. We should know that what is the desired function that is required. And if your system is not having permissible things to control the process based heat generation, or to control it or to neutralize it at any given stage, then that equipment is not designed for the set function. Last but not the least, we will talk about human error or arson. Now arson, you know that it is intentionally done. So whenever human burns it intentionally, it's called arson. Now about a person. Now human, most common, pointing fingers. I just read a quote about everybody, somebody, nobody, and anybody. When it comes to defining roles and responsibilities, we must never have shared responsibility. Like the quote said, anybody could have done it, nobody did it, thinking someone will do it, knowing it's everyone's responsibility. This result is it becomes most important contributor to machine fires if system is not maintained or set task is not performed. Primarily, some machines cannot do things on their own. You require humans to perform certain tasks. Now, when humans are not performing the set task given to the saying that I just told you, that thinking that it is everyone's responsibility, so somebody will do it, but nobody did it, thinking that anybody can do it, right? So this is what happens. Okay, so this concludes our very short video on how machine fire starts and what a basics on machine fires. I hope we were able to contribute as much. Like I said, Safety Short is a series focusing on small safety videos. We'll keep posting more such videos. Keep liking and sharing, and do not forget to subscribe us for our motivation. We'll keep on posting more such videos. Till then, stay connected and stay safe.